Hello, welcome to the Real Estate Regroup Show. I am your host, LJ Walker, a real estate investor helping you realize your dream of owning a home or investing in one. Well, today let's talk about commercial property investments, particularly during this time that we are experiencing a pandemic or plandemic, as many of us feel. To be quite honest with you, owning commercial property or commercial property itself has been phasing out for a while now, even before COVID, because a lot of people were either shopping online or on TV. A lot of people, you see, they don't like crowds or lines. I've been seeing a lot of buildings, especially mixed use buildings, where the apartments are filled, but the stores are boarded up for years. And again, this was prior to COVID-19. Okay. Now, with a lot of people not paying rent up in their apartments, that's not doing all that well too during this particular pandemic. Many, as you know, have lost their jobs. So that's one reason why people are not paying rent. The other reason is because the laws have been misinterpreted by your president, Donald Trump, who said that they don't have to pay rent. The truth is, if you look at the bill, it wasn't that everybody doesn't have to pay rent. It was really only for HUD homes. Now, the delay as far as eviction is concerned, that is definitely true. But believe me, when those moratoriums are done, and they have been alleviated in certain states, a lot of landlords have gone in and they've pressed for evictions, as well as banks who also have pressed for foreclosure. Okay? So I would say this has definitely put a great strain on people who own commercial property. All right. From what I'm hearing too, is those who live in large apartment complexes, condos, and co ops, to be more precise, many of them have become very uncomfortable. You see, because it's not more normally than a few people in the elevator at one time, maybe four people. Think about those people who live in 36 flight apartment buildings. Many of them have decided, you know what? Living in such a tall building is not as convenient as it used to be. And they're thinking about selling their property and either moving to another state or moving to a smaller building. Some have been thinking about home ownership, either buying a single or a small multifamily. Okay. The businesses that typically have been in commercial buildings that are really feeling it are, of course, retail stores that sell clothes, a number of restaurants, and yes, even the post office. There's been a delay because they've already laid off a number of people. I've seen articles which said that we may not even have a post office anymore since email is being sent online. I'm still not sure how that's going to work out too good, because you still have states where the notary has to be there. Or paperwork has to be signed off and it can't be done digitally. And now they're also saying that some of the digital tools out there don't offer privacy and is sharing people's personal information. So, see, that's going to be an issue. That's going to be an issue. Another thing that I've noticed here in New York, this is something that has been implemented in the building that I work at. is that they have installed thermometers at the door. If you go through that thermometer and your temperature is more than 100 degrees, you are then taken to the side and you are examined again. And if it's still 100 degrees, they will turn you away, even if you have an ID, even if you have an appointment and a letter. So that is something that is definitely new on my job, which is why my CEO has encouraged that we stay home and not come to work. Also, when you go to work, you have to, for those who physically have to be in the building, they have to arrive a lot earlier than they used to in order to be at work on time, because there's a line and you must be 6 feet apart. Okay? So, what does this mean to those of you who want to invest? Well, if you're doing crowd funds and some REITs, most of the time that's with commercial buildings, right? So, what I suggest that you look into is look into buildings where they're going to be renting to a government agency, to a laundromat, a dry cleaner, medical office, grocery store, FedEx, utilities, or a drop-off place. Because those are the only commercial buildings right now, or commercial businesses right now, where people are actually making money. And not even just for those of you who are going to do crowd funds and REITs, but even for those of you who plan on purchasing commercial property. You may yourself, if you're going to be forming your own group, I would look into these areas or into these businesses as far as investing is concerned, because people who have other types of commercial property are really suffering right now. Okay, and remember this, because this is something that I'm seeing a lot on the internet. When you are setting up your group, be very careful. Normally, there's a general partner, which probably would be you if you're setting this up. And then you have other people underneath you who are providing the finances. I believe they've changed the laws. And if you need to require that people put down at least $25,000. If they put down less, you're going to be subject to the SEC. Okay? And even some deals, they're saying that they want people to be accredited investors. The laws on accredited investors has changed, it seems, as well, because it used to be something where you had to have like $100,000 to your name, and I believe 250,000 if you were a married couple. They may have changed that around. Again, please check with a lawyer for those of you who are going to do that. And remember, please do not over leverage. You want to always make sure that your cash flow is higher than your debt. Okay? So, folks, that's all I have for you tonight. Oh, one last thing. Make sure you get full insurance on that property as well, especially during a time such as this. All right? So, my friends, hopefully what I've suggested will help you guys make smart financial moves. Feel free to pass this along. Remember, each one, reach one, teach one. Bye for now. Until next time, have a good night.